All right, so we have the games for Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. It is currently December 9th, and the picks that I had put out yesterday are still ongoing, although two of them did not hit. The Norman Powell over 21 and a half did not hit. He had 19. I actually watched him miss about four shots. And Paulo Banchero over 19 and a half did not hit. He had 18, and I watched him miss eight shots. So I think he shot 5 for 14. So like I said, the opportunities were there. These players were just not cashing. However, that's going to happen some nights. I still would choose that player over and over again for the simple fact of it followed my system. And you're going to have good nights, you're going to have bad nights. But I'm going to get straight into it. So we have the Suns versus Thunder as the first game, and we have Spurs versus Lakers as the second game. And these are NBA Cup games. And Lord, I love me some NBA Cup. Why? Because prior to the NBA Cup playoffs, you had a point differential. So those starters, even if they were doing blowouts, they were going to get them extra minutes. But there's money on the line, so these players are going to be playing very hard. If we look at this first game, Suns versus Thunders, the injury report: Isaiah Livers out. Devin Booker game time decision, which is huge. Kobe Bryant game time decision. Jalen Green is out. We had Dylan Brooks that was on game time decision last game. He is now in the green this game. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, Isaiah Hartenstein out, which is huge because that's a lot of rebounds that you're going to miss out right there. Isaiah Joe is out. Nice bench player. Topic, Nikola Topic out. And then Sorber, the rookie, is out for the season. My number one go to player for the day is going to be Shea. All right, want to know why? I have put money on Shea for 30 plus. I think 3 or 4 times this season, and it's cash every single time. He is the most efficient basketball player in the league right now, but him and Luka, and he has consistently hit this line against top 10 defenses, and consistently hit this line versus teams that are in the bottom 10. Even despite blowout potential, he'll still give them 30. So it depends on the line that you're using. So right here, they have him at 31 and a half. His projection is 30, which is typically usually what he gets, specifically 30 on the dot. Sometimes he'll go over depending on the opponent. But if you look right here, he covered this line so many times. And I love this one a lot because I like him versus tougher matchups because the games are going to be close. And if the ball's going to be in somebody's hand, it's going to be in SGA's hand. Trying to move that close. But if you look here at some of the stats, him versus top 10 defenses, Golden State is in the top 10 defense. He hit the line. Phoenix is in the top 10. He hit the line, and he gave them 37. Minnesota top 10 defense. He gave them 40. Who else is in the top 10 defense here? Golden State, he missed this one. Gave them 28, but they blew them out. And then the rest of these teams are just like bottom of the pack, and he's giving them 30. So he's very consistent with 30. He hit 9 over the last 15. I'm not really worried about it whatsoever. It says it's a 60%. He's 60% on the win rate. But he really hits it more than 60% if you look at the matchup. So I like SGA here with it being a cup game, money on the line. They're going to give it to their go-to guy, the bucket, the person who makes this whole train row. So I put my money on Shea. This is my main play for today. The next play I like a lot. If I didn't go with Shea, I was definitely going to go with this one, which is Dylan Brooks. Now, Devin Booker is game time decision, but even when Devin Booker is in the game, this nigga Dylan Brooks be putting up endless shots. I be seeing him put up endless shots. He averages about 14 to 15 shots per game, but I didn't see him have crazy nights. And the thing is, I think his line is a little low. So on Bet365, which is what I use, his line was at 18 and a half. But on here, I guess on majority of your popular sports book is 19 and a half, which is 20 points. But at his line at 18 and a half, he covered a lot of those. Let's look at it. So I'm not looking at the bottom teams. I'm looking at the top 10 defenses because he's playing against OKC. I think they're the number 1 or number 2 defense in the league. So we'll look at Houston. He covered in Houston. He gave them 23. Lakers, they're not there. Denver, they're not there. OKC, he didn't hit it. His line, he had 19, but remember I said what I got on Bet 365 is 18 and a half. And he covered at an 18 and a half lines, and the line was on that date. Oh no, it dropped. Yes, on that date, on it was 17 and a half, and he covered that. Who else? Houston. He covered that again. 29. Spurs, their top defense, 25. Minnesota, their top defense, 22. You feel me? These are other middle of the pack teams. So he plays very well versus those teams that don't allow a lot of points, and I guess his grit. I don't know if it's his play style, but he be overly chucking. See, his projection is at 13 and a half. Why, I don't know. But I like Dillon Brooks to go over on this 18 and a half, especially if if Devin Booker's not playing, because Dillon Brooks is a high volume shooter. He takes a lot of their shots. He's one of their go-to options. So I like Dillon Brooks' play right here. Now for the next game, we got the Spurs versus the Lakers. You got Jordan McLaughlin out, game time decision. Wemby has just been announced out for the Cup game, which I'm not mad at that. And Harrison Ingram, he's a game time decision. Don't matter because you ain't Harrison Barnes. And then the Lakers, they have Maxi Kleber on game time decision, so they're pretty healthy. And what we're looking at today is we're going to go back to De'Aaron Fox. Now, De'Aaron Fox let us down the other night, but he shot terrible. And De'Aaron Fox hasn't had too many games where he shot terrible. He's 10-5 on his over-under so far in his last 15, which is, I'll take a 10-5 record. That's pretty consistent. All right, we go down here and we look at, he covered this line so many times. He just didn't do it against New Orleans. Who had a great game? Harrison Barnes went crazy. Harrison Barnes, I think, dropped 24. Stephon Castle, I think, had 16 or 17. So he had other people that were doing the scoring for him. But at the end of the day, De'Aaron Fox is going to take those volume shots as well, and that's all we want. We want an opportunity to have a person who is going to go in there and who's going to take them shots. And if you miss them shots, it sucks, but we can live with it than a person who just go in there and one day he has a lot of shots and one day he don't. So with him covering this line, he covered this line against a lot of the top defense as well. Orlando's a top defense, covered the line. Memphis, not Minnesota top defense covered the line. Phoenix top defense covered the line. Warriors top defense covered the line. You feel me? So he covered this line versus those top 10 defenses in points allowed. And I believe he could do it again, especially in that little bounce back game after a bad game last night. So I'm leaning towards the De'Aaron Fox over. Projection says under. I'm not rocking with the projection on this one. I'm going to lean for the over. Now, his line is at 22 and a half. So when I checked, Wemby wasn't ruled completely out yet. So on Bet365, they only had his 20 plus points up there at minus 150. That minus 150 is a go for me. If I had to put money on it, I would put money on the De'Aaron Fox 20 plus. The 22 and a half, I didn't do the research on it, but I'm definitely a over on the 20 plus if you can get the 20 plus for minus 150 or anything close to that. And the last pick that I had is Luka for the day. Luka, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I like my high volume shooters. I want my picks to have the ability to hit their points line because they are just dogs. Like they're gonna get their shots up. Sorry about that. They have him projected for under, but my research don't say he go under. My research says he goes over. The line that I did my research on was actually at 33 and a half. And on other sports books, it's at 32 and a half. And that makes a big difference. 1 point, you never know. So with my line going over, with what I did and my projections and me going over the 33 and a half, I definitely take the over on the 32 and a half. Let's look at this. You guys know exactly what I'm looking for. Them top 10 defenses and points allowed, simply because that's who he's going to be facing. Phoenix, he covered. Utah Clippers, Milwaukee, New Orleans. OKC, he didn't. Charlotte, no. Spurs, he covered. Memphis, he covered. No, not Memphis. Memphis is not one of them teams. So he covered this in a lot of his games. A lot of these teams are either bottom or middle of the pack, but his line is just high as shit. But to score 32.5, like, he's getting up those shots with Reeves there, with Braun there. He barely missed it right here. So I'm rolling. I will go over on this 32.5. Like I said, NBA Cup, they need their bread. They're going to give them their best shot, and why not give your best player to give you the best shot? You feel me? So these are my picks for today. If I had to put them in order, SGA is my number one. I will go. Really, Dylan Brooks is my number two. That's what I'm really most confident in. I'll go Fox for 20 plus points at 3, and I'll go Luka for the over 32.5 at 4. I hope y'all appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down your picks below. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.